So like most people, I wanted to see a Thor movie that took place in his home turf. No fish out of water stuff, no trying to blend in with any funny lines, just Thor being Thor. But after watching Thor: The Dark World, I might find myself going back on that remark. I know I'm kind of an outsider on this, but I'm sorry, I did not see this as a very good film. It just kind of felt like in-between pointless exposition on a character that really could be a lot of fun to explore. In an environment that could be a lot of fun to explore. And when we do finally explore it, it's just kind of dull looking. Really? This is the Dark World? The Dark World is fucking boring. Really? This is our bad guy who's going to replace Loki? Really? We have this dumbass comic relief again? Okay, let me start from the beginning. Some evil jerk who looks like a reject from the new Star Trek movies is trying to capture the Infinity Stones. What are the Infinity Stones? Oh god, I don't want to explain. Just powerful things, that's all you need to know. And it's up to Thor to stop him from getting this stone and, of course, conquering Earth. Natalie Portman is once again roped in, and sadly she gets way too much screen time. More than actually his other warrior friends have. Which is really not fair. I like these warrior friends. I think we need more of them. But instead, not only do we get a ton of Natalie Portman, but Kat Dennings. Good fucking god, do I hate Kat Dennings in this movie. I didn't like her in the first one, but at least Thor was on screen. We could see them sort of interact, and if she said something stupid, whatever. Thor's there, and he's charming and cool. Here, every time she's on screen, she's either alone or with her scientist friends. And she is so beyond annoying. Like, remember in Star Wars where the comedy kind of came from the interaction off of people, like the way Luke Skywalker worked off of Han Solo, and he worked off of Chewie, and Chewie worked off of C-3PO and stuff? It was the interaction. This is the Jar Jar Binks of the Star Wars movies. All the comedy is just put into one person. And just like Binks, she's not funny. Hell, the film opens up with a scientist running around nude. Yeah, they create some sort of bullshit explanation for it, but it's entirely pointless. You don't need it. The comedy is beyond desperate in this. Every line that is trying to be funny, unless it's said from Loki, is painful. Beyond painful. But that's not the only bad thing about it. Remember how grand and huge the worlds looked in the first Thor? Here, they look nice, at least the palace. But aside from that, it's just kind of typical fantasy stuff that you'd see anywhere. Again, look at this Dark World. The movie is named after this, and it is so incredibly not interesting. There's a major character who dies in this movie. I remember thinking to myself, God, I should be a lot more invested in this. And I guess I felt bad seeing Thor's reaction to it, but I personally didn't miss the character that much because they just didn't make that person that interesting. Nobody is that interesting in this movie. The villain? What a yawn. The scheme? Seen it a million times. The only thing that's kind of enjoyable is when Thor has to team up with Loki again. This is as great as it sounds. You like seeing these two together. You like seeing them work off each other. But what do? Halfway through the movie, they get rid of that idea. And they don't even really start that until the end of the first third. So that's 1/3 of the movie. Hell, less than 1/3. If this was the prime focus, maybe it would have been a lot more fun. But nope. We gotta make room for Natalie Portman and Kat Dennings saying all their stupid, unfunny stuff that nobody wants to see. The movie gives you no time to really settle down and feel like you can get attached to these characters, which is so weird because there's a whole movie dedicated to them that did so well at doing that. Everybody talks like they just kind of want to get the story going. Nobody really relates to each other. Again, with the exception of Loki, but that's in the movie so little it can't really save it. I guess the only other thing that's kind of enjoyable is that the climax does have some creative ideas. It's this device that's kind of like a portal gun in that you can go through a hole and come out another area and can zap you in all sorts of different places, and yeah, they do some cool things with it. But again, did I really care if Thor stopped this guy? Did I really care if he succeeded in his quest? I didn't give a shit. As dumb a setup as the first film was, at least I cared for those people. At least I wanted to see Thor get back home. I don't know, this isn't the worst movie by any means, but it's the time that I felt we could really see Thor being Thor, going out into the fields, or traveling through the stars, or going to other worlds, just swinging that hammer, doing the cool stuff. Once again, I could see those operatic landscapes really taken advantage of. But instead of feeling like a really grand big comic book, it just kind of feels like a very dull standard comic book. But like I said, I know I'm in a minority, and a lot of people really like this film. I don't get it, and there's certainly nothing in it that's straight up offensive, again, outside of maybe Kat Dennings, and weird naked scientists running around for no reason. But my opinion, I'd rather save my money for Avengers 2.